And I might as well get started here, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Ministry Platform and Full Method have been a partnership for several years. We have, of course, our platform Go Method, or as you guys know, Focus Missions. We started there, and now we have this pastoral engagement tool that we're calling Growth Method. And it's all about supercharging the processes that you're already doing with Ministry Platform, but giving them a place to not only be recorded in Ministry Platform, but creating this personalized touch. And we're going to show you how we're going to do that for Easter. So the key tagline that we're excited about is automations that create organic relationships. And it's really about being bringing a personal touch to a lot of the sequential items in ministry that we see here today. And so why are we here today? We'll start there. As we know, most of us have been dormant, or at least online, for the last year. And what we see as Easter is probably our first time, depending on what state you're in, but our first moment to actually come together as a congregation and see first-time guests, see people that we haven't seen in a long time, and really give them an opportunity to re-engage. And re-engaging through growth is unlike anything that we've really experienced. The development staff at Full Method, from hearing many of our different customers over the years, being able to build a bi-directional relationship, something that is extremely personal, is what we're here to talk about today, and how we're going to do it around Easter. So real quick, what are we going to cover today? What is Growth Method for those people that have not? I know we had some customers already in here. This has been a really important integration for us with Ministry Platform. There's over 30 Ministry Platform churches already using Growth Method and building out forms, building out their workflows, building out mobile offices. So really exciting things. We're going to talk about how it works. We're going to talk about our Easter track options, how we will either have a visitor engagement, or we can even have these member engagements. Now that obviously we're coming back from COVID, there's a lot of conversation and communication that hasn't happened, where it's just kind of lived dormant in that online world. We can either use our Easter track, which we're recommending, or you could use yours, and we could, again, automate that process for you. Like we often say, we can save you time, but it's really about the experience of that visitor and making sure that it's an important one. And then, of course, can we make it to Easter? Can we make it to April 4th? And I can confidently say that we will. So what is Growth, and what does it really enable? It's an all-in-one tool that will help you simplify online forms, physical cards. It has the ability to read the handwriting on those physical cards. It creates bi-directional text relationships. Email, we have the ability, of course, to schedule phone calls, and then send even physical postcards on your behalf, as well as get things into MP much quicker through some of these mass uploads that we have. It's going to give you real-time visibility into MP and the processes that we have laid out within our tracks. It will allow you to leverage our own standalone app for our pastoral engagement. So the ability to give your volunteers or pastoral staff an app that every single time they make a phone call or text message, it's going to be recorded and logged back into MP. And then visibility into these different areas. So of course, we're talking about Easter, but there's first-time guests, there's salvation, there's many different ways that we can approach all of these pastoral engagement elements. And to be able to do that and see a holistic view of everything is a really, really powerful tool, is what you're about to see. And we bring out the point of what areas outside of Easter as well are going to be automated in your church. Salvation, baptism, biblical parenting, the process of having even music volunteers or production staff. We hear a lot around bereavement, and we'll talk about that towards the end here. Each one of these are moments where a pastoral staff can step in and create a personalized relationship. And you're going to see how easy that is in a moment. So just be thinking about, all right, I'm responsible for XYZ. I'm sure we've got a lot of multiple hat wearers in our MP communities. So as you see these, maybe these are some areas that we can talk about and answer some questions around as we begin to automate these tracks. And so how does this work? What is Growth, and what is it doing? We have online forms. We have handwritten cards that we can read. We have keyword texts that we can text the word Easter to begin these relationships. We have, of course, manual entry. I mentioned those mass uploads of Excel files. And then we're always listening to MP. This is a tremendous, because of the integrations that we have together through the concept of webhooks, we can listen for MP milestones, for form responses, for group participant roles, for group roles, for group inquiries and participant types, for reason to trigger an Easter track, a reason to trigger a salvation track. And so very, very powerful, all of these what we would call entry points, so that we can accomplish this. And it's our ability to pastor, our ability to volunteer. We're going to be either in a mobile environment or in front of our screens in front of a website, a terminal environment. But a lot of that we see, 90+% actually is the stat, of pastoring is being done online. And so we decided to create an iOS app for you guys. And part of Tony's role, and you're going to meet Tony in a second, our implementation guru, is going to be connecting you here, is being able to come into every day and saying, I'm part of this particular, we'll use Easter track for today, and say, these are the phone calls I need to make on Monday. These are the in-person meetings that have been scheduled, these personalized emails going out, the postcards that are being sent in my name, and even that bi-directional texting element, which is so personalized. To be able to really develop a one-on-one relationship with your leader, with your volunteer, after coming for Easter weekend and coming away with a relationship. And of course, I mentioned it earlier, we're writing all of this to ministry platform. So the milestone, the opportunity, the text message, the call length, adding people to group, all of that's being recorded on behalf. And so let's go through a scenario that Tony's going to break it down for us. So here's how it would basically work. You're going to be able to come in. I'm a guest in this example, and I text the word Easter to a toll-free number. Automatically, depending on what the appropriate amount of time, we usually put a time delay in there because you don't want to instantly respond. We would say, hey, Jared, this is Pastor Tony. Thank you for joining us on the Easter weekend. How did you hear about today's service? So now we're starting this conversation back and forth, this bi-directional communication that, again, is being logged in the ministry platform, and those tasks are being scheduled out. And so I can either fill out a keyword, I could fill out a form, and again, we're going to deliver a relationship one-on-one and a scheduled task to that mobile device for the following weeks of ministry. Now, I'm going to pass it to Tony. I'm going to stop sharing on my end, Tony, if you want to hop up here and share. What we're going to show you here specifically is our Easter track as a whole. And Tony, if you want to take it from there, it's all yours.
Thanks, Jared. I cannot turn on my video, so you'll just get to hear me and share my screen. So what I want to do quickly is show you the Easter track that we've made for you. And that looks like this. These are the steps that come out of that process that Jared was just explaining how it works. And what we've done here really is just kind of give you an example of all of the entry points. As he talked about, you can text the keyword. We can even listen to MP for when person join a group, has a milestone, is assigned any group role. All of these are options to enter this track. And so what it will do on Easter is, however they get into the track, it's going to then start this process. And what we're going to do is wait an hour, and we're going to automatically send this welcome text message. And the way we've written it out is basically just initial contact, a welcome, and we answer, or we end with a question, because that'll elicit a response. And so in this case, this is their first text that they're going to get from me, from specifically a person, that one-on-one engagement. And so as the user sees it, the user is just getting a text message from me. Even though they texted another number to get into the system, if they text Easter, this is now what looks like my phone number for them. And so it'll start that process, and then it'll wait 5 hours, and it'll send out an email. And we can customize this to your church's language, needs, anything like that. But the steps are going to be the same for Easter. And then once these two things happen, all this communication's completed, we can send a milestone into MP if you have that in your system already. We can write that to it, and then it'll move them on to the next week. We're going to wait until Monday, and we're going to say, let's make a phone call. Let's wait and actually schedule a phone call with someone, check up on them, get them plugged into church, and then we're going to wait 2 more days and send another text message. And I know a lot of churches are going to have a devotional, or you've got a new believer track, or anything that you want to say we can put in here. But we're going to just keep that engagement rolling and then wait 2 days. And if you've got a gift card, a Bible, a first time guest gift, anything that you wanted to send to somebody, this will create a manual task for you and just remind you to do this, so then we can continue to move them through the system. And so this is fully customizable. This is something that we've created ready to go. You can use the verbiage we have in here. We can tweak it to you. We can even add steps if you want. But for those of you that want something handmade, ready to go for Easter, this is that track. And as you can see, it goes through 3 weeks. We're going to wait until Saturday. We're going to remind them to come back to church. We're going to wait another day and send them that postcard automatically and give them another phone call and really move them into assimilation within the church. And like we mentioned before, as they move through this process, they can have milestones, they can be added to groups, they can update their participant type. Anything that we want to tell it to do in MP, we can do that. And Jared, I'm going to throw it back to you.
Fantastic, fantastic. Let me just turn that camera back on, and we may do some screen sharing for the Q&A parts of things today. And we'll go through how we build this out and things of that nature. So first of all, let's talk about pricing. Pricing traditionally is $300 for implementation. That is being waived specifically for you all. So we want to get you in there. We want to get you building. We want to get you our Easter track or a version of your Easter track, so that we can, again, give those returning, and it doesn't even have to be first-time visitors. It can be that unministered to population that we've had dormant over COVID, and bringing them back. Pricing starts at $25 a month, and then we're usage based after that. So every action that you make in the system is credit based, and we can go over that as we build out your track and explain that. We have monthly and annualized options in that regard. And then we have maintenance packages to where we're maintaining and constantly growing. As you can see, as easy as we can say Easter track, we can say first time guest. I've heard with churches, hey, can I have a re-engagement track? Absolutely. We can see many different ways. I don't know if Jason's on the call, but we talked about what's the process to even book the church for weddings? And the question was that an Easter track, or was that a track? And absolutely, the ability to have what is a mobile office number, and I'm going to show you that, I think, in a screen share here shortly. And then how we build out one of those tracks is all Tony's world, and we're making it super easy for you guys. If you want to hold up a phone right now, just hit that QR code, or if you'd like to jot it down, fullmethod.com/Tony, and Tony's going to help you build those tracks for Easter. So one, we're going to bring in the pastor. We're going to give them that number that they can be text from, called from, voicemail. We have all of that full function of mobile office. And then we have the ability to customize, or again, use our Easter track in that regard. So that's fullmethod.com/Tony, or take a quick photo of that QR code, and that will get you a quick booking with him. And then we can go into a little bit of Q&A here. I'm going to pull this up on my end. Do we have any questions, guys? I'm not seeing anything yet.
There is a question that just came up in the chat.
Awesome. Awesome. So the question was, is the Easter track an actual template that you will be providing to new and existing customers? Yes, absolutely. So what Tony has laid out there, we're going to recreate and replicate for you. Again, we can use it as a form, and because they filled out this form, they are added to a track. We could say because they are added to a group in MP, that would be a reason to trigger that. We could also say because they use keyword text Easter, that was the reason to add them to that. And it's then the second question was, how long does it take to implement, and what is that time frame? I love that question, because that's exactly where we're at right now. We're looking at a day to a day and a half. The first day, in the sense of, we're going to come alongside you probably for about, Tony, what is your average time? 35, 45 minutes, and explain, yeah. All right, let's build out our form. Let's build out our keyword text. Let's build out, what are we listening for? And then we're going to build out the track. And so that one-on-one building out we're going to ask, should we say it in our voice, or would you like to add a little flavor that is maybe more specific to your community? And Tony has a worksheet that you'll literally say, I'd like to say this, then I would like to delay 2 hours, and then I'd like to send this email, and I would like to delay, and then I would. So it's that constant breakdown that he will take in, build for you. That's where that implementation cost usually lives. And so we're going to waive that for you, and Tony's going to build it. So we're talking anywhere between a day, maybe 2 days of delay. If you will fill out that that worksheet for us, we will deliver that track to you. We got
Jared, there's a
couple more.
couple of Q&A. Yeah, I want to hit that question really quick in the chat. The other one about the
Please.
delay on text times, and that is a feature. We can tell it to send at a specific time or between certain hours. That way, if somebody rolls into our system at midnight, they're not getting the text at 2 a.m. every single time. So we can set those days or those time frames, business hours, whatever you want to call it, specifically. That is a feature. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. A question from our buddy Jason Lee. How do you handle a situation where someone is not expecting or is not respecting unhealthy boundaries of the pastor or the pastor's needs and out of conversation? Basically, we're providing, thankfully, no more pastors are sharing these cell phones anymore. They're going to be getting a mobile office number like us. And then we can also transfer that number. So as somebody is coming in or out, we can transfer that number to maybe someone else on the team. We can also transfer the ownership of that track to somebody else as well. So it will definitely allow you different levels of interaction between maybe senior leadership and some of the volunteer staff. There's another question here. How do imports work and how much do they cost? So an import is a CSV upload. And so we consider an individual, usually a line in that CSV. Those are 10 credits. And as we break down into the pricing, 10 credits, basically around 40 to 50 cents, depending on what track that you're on. So we'll work on that together during implementation. Another question, I like this one. Jason Lee, I know the person in the congregation can reply stop, but what about the staff member needing to stop? So what he's referring to is, of course, just by any law of texting, if I type the word stop, does it stop? The answer to that is yes. It's also not very likely to happen if Pastor Tony was to reach out to me, make an introduction. We're establishing relationship back and forth of asking questions. Everything about this communication should never be capital C church. Like the church is saying, just wanted to welcome you so much for and then insert your anything structured and insert the church name or something like that. That's not how we would talk. So we're going to really shape it around the personal language. And so in that regard, someone would literally have to, we would ask them a question. So, how did you enjoy visiting the church? And you would just say stop. So that would probably be not as likely and potentially rude, but yes, a conversation will stop in that regard. One question from Trace here. For the step that is to make a phone call, how does the system remind or notify the person who needs to make that call? Great question. So in one regard, we will have our mobile app that will be our to-do. We're also delivering every day a email at 6 o'clock in the morning that will go to your inbox, and it will have my today's task. So you're not only going to get it for that, you're also going to get it for the push notifications and responses. You're going to be getting an email unless you'd like to turn that preference off. So we're doing our best to wave our hands both with push notifications, just like any application would, as well as delivering them to email. All right, I think we're at.
Have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
In the chat, can multiple pastors receive different tracks? Yes, each track is fully customizable as long as we're assigning a track contact to that track. We can have pastors or volunteers on any of the tracks that we create for you, and multiple people on the same track as well, in round robin styles or anything, even based by campus. For those of you multi-campus, we can assign the campus person to that campus over the track.
I love that. And while we've got you, we went pretty quick, and we meant to for this Q&A purpose. I'm just going to hit some highlights to you guys. If you're going to be taking this inside and having to get some buy-in, it really is a partnership between IT and pastoral. Just wanted to hit some things for you guys, and then just keep blowing up the Q&A. We're going to answer those questions. The upside for you guys, it is one system that writes it all back to MP. That's really, really important. The automation behind these conditional records for our existing churches out there, this is blowing their hair back that they can complete a form and get a milestone. They can text something and get an opportunity. They can do something and put the individual into groups. There's a lot of these conditional automations around there. And that leads to the fact that we are very, very passionate about your data integrity, the MP data integrity. This partnership has allowed us to do so much in that regard. The digital office aspect, to be able to give a pastor a number, and again, not they give out their personal cell phone numbers, but they're not really wanting to be able to create a distance between that, and then to have the ability to make a phone call and have it record automatically, and text messages record automatically. There's an accountability there, there's an ease of use there, and it gets them where they're at. Again, 90% of that pastoring being in a mobile environment. And of course, bi-directional syncing with MP, time and savings here, data entry from, by the way, all those handwriting on those cards. We're taking that handwriting and we're adding that to ministry platform. Removal of manual tasks and an easy transfer of span of care roles. So that's the benefits there. Pastoral, and again, I will not belabor this. We've got some more questions coming in. I'm going to share this, and if you guys want to reach out to Tony during that time and say, hey, could I get that deck that you guys were using? We are more than happy to share this. Daily ministry tasks, mobile environment, cost savings, time savings, measurable effectiveness, to be able to see one ministry process over another, and these people are moving through the track easier. Maybe we can learn from other departments and what they're doing. And then finally, from a leadership standpoint, the benefits to the church leadership, 360 view, real-time day-to-day milestones, and campus level. We can literally break it down by campus, by track purpose, if you will. Salvation, first-time guest, today, Easter, and seeing how effective we are there. Comparing single ministry, as I mentioned in the last one, and then just allowing everything to be documented and have the accountability along with that. Let's go back to those Q&As. Again, these are for you. Please let us know if you need this. We're more than happy to share that. Can we speak how accurately the handwriting can be read? Yes, we used to kind of belabor the accuracy. It's 99.9. There's some stuff that's just difficult to read. What we're now boasting is the efficiency. We're seeing cards turned around. We just have a new technology stack that we're working with. We're seeing cards turned around in the 15 to 20 minute window, and that is not size determinant. 100 cards takes that long, and 5 cards takes that long. And so we're seeing much, much stronger technology and much, much quicker return. So we would say in that regard, we're about 95, 96% accurate is what it's boasting in there, but it's more about, oh my goodness, I just took out 80, 90% of the time effort, and I'm just gonna approve these 1 or 2 fields that are challenges. What's the difference between your integration data synced with MP and the CSV imports? Lots of CSV questions. So CSV, we have a thing called conditionals, where not only are we saying, I had a demo last Friday that said, I have this worksheet of all of our drip list, if you will, and they wanted to re-engage that list. Well, rather than create a specific add all these people to a group in MP, they were saying, can I just take the CSV and upload it to growth and then trigger actions from there? And that answer is very, very seamlessly. A lot of, I think if we've got some existing customers on the line here, the process of updoing a CSV is very, very easy. And again, we're going to be looking for, I believe, 5 different levels to compare phone number, address, cell phone, first and last name, and I believe I'm missing one other one, but we're going to make sure that there is no duplicates. And if we do, we're going to give you the option, it's what we call a discrepancy, to view the two to make that decision. Again, we're very against duplicates in that regard. Accurate handwriting. What do you think the time saving could look like for the average church? It really is all across the board. With time savings, if we're talking about cards, we're talking about any manual data entry, getting that right into the system. Let's call that somewhere an hour to an hour and a half of your Monday morning. Now, when we come down to the act of pastoring, I'm not sure it's time savings as much as it is quality and transfer of heart. So, and the idea that we would have the ability to always ensure that no one's getting lost between the cracks. Maybe that's a time savings, but I think that's more of a heart thing. We don't lose people anymore because they're in our tracks, and we can see if they're overdue and we can engage with them. When it comes down to follow up, automatically having a system remind you to make a phone call or automatically send that text message. We're hoping to make sure that no one ever feels like they didn't get the churches or get the pastor or volunteers eye and they got lost. We're trying to make sure that everybody gets that one-on-one touch. I think, I don't know if you see any more here, Tony. Any additional questions, guys? I'm going to give you that Tony slide one more time. Please, by all means, book with him. It's really, really our heart. It's and again, to get you to Easter is not a difficult time. Well, we can't do it. We can't. I really think this is something that is very doable, and it's a partner between guys. We have this really new cool tech with Full Method from a ministry platform standpoint, and bringing on that, who's going to be that campus pastor that's going to be following up with our Easter visitors, who's going to be maybe an additional person that is helping re-engage those people we haven't seen in 6 months. What are those assimilation people? And all we'll have to do is literally get their email address, invite them to the platform, and we're going to assign them a phone number, and now they're part of the track. And so this is we're not building complex networks of anything. It's all laid out for you. You can again use our Easter track or alter ours to benefit April 4th, getting real one-on-one communication ready for Easter Sunday. And another one here is what the difference between this and mass texting. We are really not necessarily a mass texting solution. We're a personal texting solutions. And so it's one of those, we're building relationship rather than talking as capital C church. I think there's room for mass texting. Of course, it's a great notification system, but if you're seeing something come in at a 5-digit number or things of that nature, the brain already is putting it into that's not a human being. The beauty of this system is the fact that this, as far as anyone knows, there's no tech that's been installed. And the one-on-one relationship with the pastor is very, very, very clear. And so with those 30 churches that are already doing this ministry platform, thank you so much for your support so far. And hopefully we can turn Easter into like a real catalyst moment of engagement, a real catalyst for what's ahead. And all we have to do is book it with Tony. So this should come at no cost to you guys for implementation and get you guys up and running. I think that is it, everybody. I cannot thank you so much for hanging out with us. Any questions we have moving forward, Tony's going to be your guy. I'm going to be joining you for all of those as well. So please bring those questions, bring your Easter track, bring those expectations for April 4th. Look forward to seeing you guys in a demo world soon or in an implementation world soon. So thank you so much, everybody. Have a great day.